It's often the things we consider insignificant that can subtly undermine our well-being, gradually diminishing our health without us even realizing it. Each day, many of us follow familiar routines, washing our face, brushing our teeth, perhaps taking a shower, feeling confident that we've adequately cared for ourselves. However, a crucial truth often goes unnoticed. Certain small, often silent areas of our body, if not cleaned diligently every day, can become concealed entry points for illness. There might be no immediate pain, no odor, no clear warning signs, just a quiet buildup day after day. Eventually, this neglect can manifest as infection, weakened immunity, or even significant health complications, particularly in older adults. This was the reality for individuals like Helen, Bernard, and Dorothy, and quite possibly, it could be subtly affecting you right now without your awareness. Today, we will explore 7 specific parts of the body that frequently escape our attention but are critically important for maintaining overall health. You might find it surprising that at least 2 of these areas are places that a vast majority, perhaps 95%, of older adults have likely never considered cleaning thoroughly. We won't delve into complicated medical jargon. Instead, expect heartfelt stories and gentle guidance, much like a conversation with a trusted old friend, sharing practical ways to stay clean, healthy, and strong. More fundamentally, we'll discuss how to live with intention, fullness, and self-compassion. Please stay with us, as the 6th area we discuss is one that quietly diminishes the confidence of many, often due to a simple misunderstanding about proper body care. Are you ready to begin this gentle exploration? Let's start. If you find value in discussions like this, consider liking this video from Old Age Wisdom. Sometimes, the smallest oversights can cultivate the most significant problems. As one gentleman shared during a senior support meeting in California, I brush my teeth, wash my face, and shave meticulously every single day, but I never once gave a thought to cleaning my belly button. A hush fell over the room, followed by soft murmurs of understanding. The navel, often disregarded as unimportant, is actually one of the body's areas prone to accumulating debris and bacteria. According to research published in the Journal of Clinical Microbiology, it can host a diverse array of bacteria. While not all these microorganisms are inherently harmful, their accumulation over time in a warm, dark, and moist environment like the belly button can create a hidden bacterial reservoir. Dr. Emma Turner, a geriatric specialist at the Mayo Clinic, notes, as we age, our skin naturally becomes thinner and the body's defenses tend to weaken. If the belly button isn't cleaned regularly, it can lead to issues like skin inflammation, fungal infections, or, in more severe cases, deeper infections requiring medical intervention. Helen, a 75-year-old woman from Oregon, provides a real-world example. Always tidy and meticulous about her hygiene, she admitted she had completely overlooked her navel for nearly 3 years. One day, she noticed itching, followed by a stinging sensation, redness, and an unusual odor near her lower abdomen. Initially suspecting an allergic reaction to her body wash, she consulted her doctor and was diagnosed with a bacterial infection originating in her navel. I was genuinely shocked, she shared with her senior wellness group. I had essentially forgotten my belly button existed, let alone that it could cause such trouble. Since then, Helen has incorporated a gentle new step into her morning routine, using a soft washcloth dipped in warm water to carefully clean her navel during her shower. No harsh scrubbing, no fingernails, just a simple, consistent act of care. It makes me feel truly clean, lighter, as if I'm finally listening to my body, she says with a smile. It illustrates that even if we've neglected certain aspects of ourselves, it's never too late to begin caring again, especially for the body that has supported us through decades of life. If you've never specifically focused on cleaning your belly button before, perhaps today offers the perfect opportunity to start. Try gently cleaning it and notice the difference. This simple act takes only a moment, yet it sends a powerful message to your body. I still care about you. Do you clean your navel daily? If this concept is new to you, please leave a comment below saying, "Just learned." And if you found this insight helpful, we'd appreciate it if you liked the video, shared it with a friend who might benefit, and subscribe to our channel, Old Age Wisdom. Here, we strive to support each other in living wiser, cleaner, and more tender lives every day. And if you thought the belly button was the most overlooked spot, consider your nose, the very passageway through which every breath travels. Yet so few of us routinely think to clean it properly. There are mornings when you might awaken feeling mentally foggy, heavy, as if your breath isn't flowing as freely as it should, almost like something is subtly obstructing the pathway that connects you to life itself. Lorraine, 74, from New Jersey, once described this feeling with simple profundity. I don't feel like I'm truly living. Even breathing has become exhausting. It turned out the underlying cause was something she had never considered, an unclean nasal passage. The nose serves as more than just an entryway for air. It's the respiratory system's crucial first line of defense. Every day, it diligently filters countless particles, dust, pollen, bacteria, even viruses, preventing them from reaching your lungs. Yet, according to research from Harvard Medical School, a significant majority, around 85%, of older adults never actively clean their nasal passages, not even when experiencing symptoms like congestion, frequent sneezing, or sleep disturbances due to a blocked nose. Dr. Peter Collins, an ENT specialist from Ohio, explains, when the nose isn't cleaned properly, harmful bacteria can accumulate, potentially leading to chronic sinus infections, persistent colds, or even bronchitis. For seniors, whose immune systems may be naturally weaker, something as seemingly simple as nasal blockage can impact sleep quality, brain oxygen levels, and even blood pressure. Lorraine, the woman who felt burdened by the simple act of breathing, was advised by her doctor to try using a saline nasal rinse each morning. I was skeptical initially, she admitted. I thought that was only for people with allergies. However, after just 1 week of consistent use, she felt the air flowing clearly into her lungs, fresh and light, like the first crisp breeze of autumn after a long period of feeling unwell. I slept better, and I woke up without that heavy, stone-like feeling in my head, she shared during a local senior wellness gathering. One small change dramatically transformed her daily experience. Nasal hygiene doesn't need to be complicated. Using a simple saline solution or a nasal rinse bottle, perhaps once in the morning to clear nighttime buildup and once before bed to cleanse before sleep, is often sufficient. Treat it as a quiet ritual, gently clearing the path for life's breath to flow freely. Most importantly, do it as an act of kindness towards yourself, because you deserve to breathe without struggle. You don't need to accept chronic congestion as an inevitable part of aging. Getting older doesn't necessitate learning to live with constant discomfort. Now let's talk about cleaning your tongue, not just for fresher breath, but for overall body health. Have you ever noticed that food doesn't seem to taste the same as it used to? Perhaps flavors seem muted, and the simple joy of eating is slowly diminishing. Have you wondered if your sense of taste has genuinely changed, or if your body might be trying to communicate something else? I have a friend, Howard, 71, from Montana. He's always been passionate about food, constantly cooking and exploring new recipes. However, for several months, he completely lost his appetite and interest in eating. He ate merely for sustenance, not enjoyment. I just figured maybe I was getting old, he told me. The excitement around food, it was just gone. But the solution wasn't related to his mood, it was related to his tongue. While many of us diligently brush our teeth and perhaps use mouthwash, we often overlook the tongue, the surface where hundreds of types of bacteria, dead cells, and food debris accumulate daily. According to the American Dental Association, approximately 80% of chronic bad breath cases originate from the tongue, not the teeth. And the implications extend beyond breath odor. Tongue hygiene affects digestion, immunity, and even cardiovascular health, especially in older adults. Dr. Evelyn Marks, a respected geriatrician, explained during a wellness seminar, when your tongue is coated with bacterial buildup, it can dull your taste buds and potentially suppress your immune system. Furthermore, these bacteria can sometimes enter the bloodstream, increasing the risk of gum disease, heart infections, and systemic inflammation. Howard's story marked a significant turning point. After his dentist introduced him to a tongue scraper and demonstrated its proper, gentle use each morning and evening, he decided to try it. Just over a week later, he called me, sounding genuinely excited. This morning, I had chicken soup, and the broth tasted amazing. It was like experiencing it for the very first time, he exclaimed. He laughed and added, Sometimes the food hasn't changed. It's just that we forgot to care for the part of us that tastes it. Cleaning your tongue doesn't require much time. Just a few gentle strokes with a dedicated scraper or a soft bristled brush, moving from the back towards the front, followed by a rinse. Incorporating this simple step daily becomes a small, yet powerful act of self-care, one that helps protect your health from the inside out. You don't always need major changes to safeguard your well-being. Sometimes, it begins with the little things, the overlooked habits that quietly help restore your body's balance. And speaking of quiet foundations, let's discuss a part of your body that keeps you grounded, quite literally, often hidden away in socks and shoes, yet vital to every single step you take, your feet. If you've ever awakened with aching heels or stiff toes, this next section is particularly relevant for you. If you're finding these tips helpful, please give Old Age Wisdom a thumbs up and subscribe. There are mornings when you place your feet on the cool floor and become aware that your steps lack their former steadiness. Perhaps there's a sharp twinge in your heel, or your toes feel numb and unresponsive. Consequently, instead of walking with confidence, you might begin to move more slowly, cautiously, with a quiet apprehension settling in your heart. I recall the story of Mr. Charles, 76 years old, living in Minnesota. A former Marine, he had remained strong and steady on his feet well into his 70s. However, within just 3 months, he started experiencing balance issues while walking. It began subtly, with a small crack appearing on one of his toes, later followed by bleeding from his heels. The very feet that had reliably carried him through a lifetime now felt like a burden, diminishing his desire to take his customary daily walks. The underlying issue was something frequently overlooked: cracked heels and the spaces between the toes, areas where bacteria and fungus can easily thrive if not cleaned and dried properly, especially in older adults whose skin becomes thinner and less elastic. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, dry skin on the feet, particularly the heels, is a primary cause of cracking, bleeding, and subsequent infections. For individuals managing diabetes, the consequences can be even more severe, as a tiny crack can potentially develop into a chronic wound that resists healing, significantly impacting long-term mobility. Dr. Gregory Lewis, a geriatric specialist in California, advises, after bathing, older adults should meticulously dry the areas between their toes to prevent moisture buildup, which can foster fungal growth. They should then apply a fragrance-free lotion to the heels, while consciously avoiding application between the toes to keep that area dry. He also suggests that a gentle daily foot massage not only enhances circulation, but can also help alleviate joint pain and reduce swelling often experienced in older age. Returning to Mr. Charles, after receiving detailed instructions from his doctor, he began incorporating daily foot care into his routine. Within a month, he was back to walking his familiar path to the nearby park. I never imagined that simply drying between my toes or applying lotion to my heels each night could enable me to walk comfortably again. Now, my feet feel years younger, he shared, his eyes reflecting a quiet joy. Our feet truly are the foundation of our independence, something we value more deeply as we age. Every firm, confident step serves as a gentle affirmation. I am still in control of my life, regardless of my age. Are you consistently caring for your feet each day? If so, consider sharing your routine in the comments to inspire others. If not, perhaps make a gentle promise to yourself by commenting, "I will start caring for my feet." If you feel these small, detailed insights are helping you live a lighter, more purposeful life, step by step, please don't hesitate to like this video, share it with someone dear to you, and subscribe to Old Age Wisdom. Together, we can strive to protect our independence, one step, one breath, one tiny habit at a time. Every steady step adds profound meaning to our days. However, there's another area of the body that quietly supports our natural detoxification system daily, yet it's often obstructed, suffocated, and can even become inflamed if not cared for correctly. That place is under your arms. We often assume we've cleaned this area sufficiently, a bit of soap, a quick scrub, and we move on. Everything seems fine until, perhaps one day, you notice a persistent rash or begin feeling unusually tired without an obvious reason. Suddenly, you might wonder, did I do something wrong? Dorothy, 69, living in Seattle, shared a very candid story during a gathering of older women. "I kept getting small lumps under my arms," she explained. "Sometimes painful, sometimes not. When I finally consulted a doctor, they informed me my lymph nodes were clogged. I was astonished because I shower daily and even use high-end deodorant." Her story prompted nods of recognition from many others in the room, as they too had experienced similar issues without fully understanding their significance. In reality, the underarm area is more than just where we sweat. It's also densely populated with lymph nodes that function as the body's natural filters for detoxification. When this area becomes blocked with residue from products, bacteria, or deodorant chemicals, this vital cleansing process can be disrupted. Research from the Journal of Dermatological Science indicates that for individuals over 60, the accumulation of deodorant combined with sweat and dead skin cells can lead to inflamed hair follicles, clogged sweat glands, and potentially swollen lymph nodes. This not only causes physical discomfort, but can also weaken the local immune response, which is particularly concerning for older adults whose overall immunity might already be somewhat compromised. Dr. Sarah Briner, an internist in Colorado, shared an important perspective. A clean underarm doesn't necessarily mean it smells like perfume. It means the skin is properly cleansed, able to breathe, and performing its natural functions. She recommends that seniors consider using a gentle mixture, perhaps of baking soda and apple cider vinegar diluted in water, applied with a soft cloth once a week, to naturally help detoxify the area. After showering, allowing the underarms to air dry for a few minutes before dressing or applying deodorant gives the skin valuable time to breathe and potentially rebalance its pH. Since adopting a similar gentle cleansing routine, Dorothy reported positive changes. "At first, it felt strange. Nobody ever told me I needed to specifically care for my armpits," she laughed. "But after just 2 weeks, the itching stopped, my skin felt softer, and strangely enough, I felt lighter overall each morning." We often prioritize caring for the parts of our body that are easily visible, our face, hair, hands, yet sometimes neglect those quieter areas that play crucial roles in maintaining our internal health. The underarms are one such area, silent yet deserving of our mindful attention. There are parts of the body we rarely see, seldom touch, and consequently, they can easily slip from our regular care routine. This neglect might continue unnoticed until, one day, perhaps your favorite white shirt doesn't seem to fit quite as comfortably because your back has developed an unusual rash, or you experience a persistent, unexplained itch in that area. That's often when the realization dawns. How long has it been since I truly paid attention to caring for my back? Mr. Bernard, 72, from Michigan, once shared during a senior center gathering. "I thought it was my laundry detergent causing the problem. My back kept getting these itchy red patches, sometimes dry, sometimes strangely damp. It turned out, as his doctor identified, that he simply wasn't adequately scrubbing his back." His honest admission prompted chuckles, but then, one by one, attendees nodded in quiet agreement, because deep down, many of us have likely been guilty of forgetting our own backs at times. The back, particularly the middle section, which is notoriously difficult to reach, is an area where sweat, dead skin cells, and bacteria can accumulate daily. According to Dr. N. Richards, a dermatologist at Boston Medical Center, failing to properly cleanse this area can lead to inflamed breakouts, persistent body odor, or even conditions like seborrheic dermatitis, which tends to affect older adults partly due to changes in oil production. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Dermatology found that among adults over 65, a staggering 73% do not effectively clean the middle of their backs during their daily showers. The reasons are varied. Most simply cannot reach the area comfortably. Some have limited mobility, and others never considered it particularly important. Yet, the back provides crucial support as we sleep, bend, and stretch. It's even central to the warm embraces we share with loved ones. It undoubtedly deserves our care just as much as any other part of our body. The good news is that addressing this isn't overly complicated. A simple tool, such as a long-handled brush with soft bristles or a soft mesh loofah on a strap, can help you cleanse this area gently and effectively. After his daughter gifted him a wooden-handled back brush, Mr. Bernard began incorporating just 2 extra minutes into his evening shower routine. The first time I actually scrubbed my back properly," he recounted, "it felt like my back could finally breathe. No more bumps, no more itching. I felt light and genuinely fresh when putting on my shirt afterward." Sometimes, a very small, intentional step is all that's required to feel seen, cared for, and loved, even by oneself. Sometimes, the things that cause us the most self-consciousness originate from places we cannot easily see, areas we tend to overlook. Consider Judith, 70, from Portland, who once shared during a women's group chat, "I bathe regularly, even apply a light perfume each morning. But then one day, my granddaughter innocently remarked, 'Grandma, there's a strange smell behind your neck.' I felt incredibly embarrassed and confused. That moment prompted her realization. She hadn't specifically cleaned the back of her neck or the area behind her ears in an indeterminable amount of time." Judith's experience is far from unique. In fact, the back of the neck and the area behind the ears, regions we rarely examine closely in the mirror, are quite active zones for sebaceous, oil, glands. They are prone to trapping sweat, environmental dust, and bacteria. If left uncleaned, these areas can quietly contribute to persistent body odor or even lead to rashes and mild contact dermatitis, particularly for individuals who regularly wear masks, glasses, or tight necklaces for extended periods. Dr. Amy Nolan, a dermatologist in San Francisco, shared at a senior health workshop, "Behind the ears and the nape of the neck are like hidden corners we often forget to clean, yet they can become hotspots for odor due to the combination of sweat, oil, and friction from clothing or eyewear." Fortunately, taking care of these areas is simple. Each evening, perhaps while showering or washing your face, just take a warm, damp washcloth or use a gentle cleanser to wipe behind your ears and around the back of your neck. Afterward, be sure to dry the areas thoroughly with a clean towel. If you enjoy it, a gentle massage in these areas can also help improve circulation. It's like offering yourself a small act of kindness and release after a long day. Judith, after incorporating this simple step into her daily routine, smiled and shared, "It's not just about feeling physically clean. I actually feel lighter when I go to bed, as if I've washed away the little burdens that seem to cling to me throughout the day." You see, just paying a little extra attention to these often ignored spots can significantly restore your confidence, enhance your comfort, and deepen your sense of self-love. After exploring these 7 often overlooked areas today, from the belly button to the feet, the tongue to behind the ears, perhaps the most profound takeaway isn't merely about cleaning techniques. It's about something much deeper, a final thought from my heart to yours, shared as one friend to another might conclude a meaningful conversation. You've just journeyed with me through parts of the body that, while familiar, are frequently forgotten in our daily care. We've touched upon the tiny navel quietly harboring bacteria, the feet silently bearing our weight through life, the tongue housing myriad microorganisms, and the back of the neck where neglect can subtly erode confidence. We heard genuine stories from individuals like Bernard in Michigan and Dorothy in Seattle, people much like ourselves, who perhaps felt uncertain or even a bit careless at times, but ultimately reached a new level of understanding and chose to treat their bodies with greater gentleness and intention each day. I want to emphasize this. Nurturing your health doesn't always require grand gestures or complicated regimens. You don't need to wait for something to go wrong to start paying attention. Sometimes, true care manifests in the smallest actions, mindfully drying behind your neck with a soft towel, taking a quiet moment to clean your tongue, or giving your feet a gentle massage before bed. These are all simple, loving ways to communicate to yourself, "I still care. I still choose to live well." Dear friend, whether you live alone or are surrounded by loved ones, you are inherently worthy of care, safety, and a life filled with love, most especially the love and attention you offer yourself. If you learned something new or felt inspired today, I would be delighted to hear from you. Please leave a comment below, even as simple, "I'm ready to make a change," lets us know you're moving forward, not in isolation, but together with the community here at Old Age Wisdom. If you found this video helpful, please consider hitting the like button, sharing it with someone you care about, and subscribing to our channel. Remember to click the notification bell so you won't miss our next video, where we continue to share gentle yet meaningful stories, practical advice, and heartfelt encouragement tailored for wise souls still eager to live well and joyfully. I look forward to seeing you again on our next journey. Until then, please continue taking good care of yourself, because you truly deserve it.